She had just walked out of the school gate. If she put on her school uniform, she would look almost exactly like a high school student. Over the years, she had imagined countless versions of what you might look like in the future. But somehow, she had never imagined this one. You hadn't changed at all. For a moment, she seemed to regret something. Why hadn't you changed even a little? But in the end, she held herself back. She wanted to ask what you were thinking, but she was afraid that asking even one question might shatter this dream. How long have you been staying at that neighbor's uncle's house? Lin Xiao changed the way she asked the question. Since last night. Just then, Uncle Jiang called. You forgot to turn off the speaker. The first thing Uncle Jiang said was, Xiao Gu, didn't you say this morning that you were going to find that girl you like? Did you find her? You were startled. You quickly turned off the speaker and nervously glanced at Lin Xiao. Fortunately, there didn't seem to be much change in her expression. Hello, Uncle Jiang. I'm coming back. Are you at home? Are you alone? The voice on the other end asked. You looked up at Lin Xiao. And her? I found her. We're together right now. She's driving me back. You two are together? Oh, looks like something big is happening tonight. Uncle Jiang's voice suddenly sounded a little strange. Then he seemed to remember something. I forgot to tell you. Today, your aunt and I went on a trip. It's already late, so don't come back tonight. A trip? Your eyes suddenly widened. At that moment, Lin Xiao's eyes also moved slightly. Oh, what happened? You suddenly realized that you had nowhere to stay tonight. You said to Uncle Jiang, since you're traveling, why don't you just drop me off here? I'll see if I can find somewhere under a bridge to spend the night. Lin Xiao gave you an annoyed look. She started the car again. Where are you going? My place. Lin Xiao answered casually. You were slightly surprised. Are you sure I can go? Of course, thank you, Lin Xiao. At 8:40 that evening, there were still plenty of cars on the road. Lin Xiao parked the car in the underground parking garage of a residential complex. She took out the car keys. This is where I live now. She had barely spoken during the entire journey. She led you into the elevator and took you all the way to the 27th floor. You occasionally glanced at her secretly. Lin Xiao stopped in front of her apartment. Beep. The door opened automatically. You looked surprised. You don't even need a key to open the door anymore? Lin Xiao smiled. I installed facial recognition on the door, so I don't need a key. Facial recognition? Yeah, phones have it too. You stood outside for a moment, looking at Lin Xiao strangely. She handed you a pair of slippers. What are you standing there for? Come in. You walked inside. Her apartment was huge, almost too huge. It felt strangely empty. There was all kinds of furniture, but everything looked unfamiliar to you. The two of you stood there silently for a moment. Fortunately, Lin Xiao quickly broke the awkwardness. She looked at the wound on your arm. You have injuries all over your body. Why don't you put some medicine on them first? You immediately nodded. You followed her. She gave you some warm water. Take your medicine first. You accepted the paper cup and swallowed the pills. Then Lin Xiao said, Give me your hand. I'll put some medicine on it. She pointed toward the edge of the bed. Sit there and wait. She quietly crouched behind you and lifted your left arm slightly. Following her instructions, you kept your arm still. Soon, the wound on your arm was treated. Aren't you hungry? You nodded. You had been busy ever since leaving the hospital. You hadn't even eaten dinner. Lin Xiao said, You really are hungry. I'll check the refrigerator. A look of excitement appeared on your face. For once you thought, maybe I can finally be useful. I'm going to make dinner. You trusted her. But when you opened the refrigerator, you were shocked. It was a double-door refrigerator. One side was the freezer, while the other was the normal refrigerator compartment. Even though you had come from 10 years ago, you could still recognize it. You pulled open the refrigerator door. There was almost nothing inside, only a single packaged yogurt. It had a picture of an orange Winnie the Pooh on it. At that moment, Lin Xiao came out of the bedroom with a smile. I only said half of what I wanted to say. Just leave it. There's nothing in my refrigerator. You stayed silent. You pointed toward the yogurt. That's usually for breakfast. Lin Xiao casually replied. But sometimes I forget to drink it. She lowered her head and continued looking at something on her phone. Anyway, thank you for caring, you asked. Then what are we eating tonight? Lin Xiao looked at you. Not just tonight. Every night. And every afternoon and morning too. You looked at her. Are you worried about me? Lin Xiao smiled. Although there's usually no food in my refrigerator, there are plenty of takeout restaurants downstairs. I order food all the time. How could I possibly starve myself? Don't worry, I won't let you starve either, you said. Then let's order something. She closed the refrigerator. You hesitated for a moment. Then you suddenly asked, is that roast duck restaurant outside the school still there? The Yang family roast duck restaurant? Lin Xiao closed her eyes for a moment. Back then, the two of you hadn't had much money. You always liked going there on Fridays because students got a 50% discount. Yeah, it feels like such a long time ago. Maybe the restaurant isn't even there anymore. Lin Xiao didn't seem to pay much attention to your words. She continued scrolling through her phone. There were pictures of roast duck, crispy pork, pan-fried meat, and several other dishes. I remember their sweet and sour pork was pretty good too. What do you want to eat? You suddenly looked surprised. Wait, it's still there? Lin Xiao opened their takeout page and showed you her phone. I don't know if the owner has changed, but the restaurant's name hasn't. Something suddenly warmed inside your chest. You felt an indescribable mixture of happiness and emotion. So everything had remained the same. Everything was still there. You unconsciously looked into her eyes. Let's get half a portion of roast duck, 2 or 3 portions of pan-fried pork, and some sweet and sour pork. I also like cold sliced pork. I've always liked it. Let's order one of those too. If that's okay with you. Lin Xiao happily nodded. Sure. She started placing the order, while repeating the dishes you had mentioned. There seemed to be a faint sparkle in her eyes. Perhaps she was remembering something too. Not long afterward, the food arrived. You peeked out from the room. A delivery worker in a yellow uniform was standing outside. This is your first time ordering takeout, right? He smiled as he handed over the food. I deliver around here all the time. Lin Xiao's smile became slightly awkward. She accepted the food politely. She was about to close the door, but the delivery worker was being helpful. Before the door closed, he loudly reminded her, "You're a new customer, right? Don't forget to claim your coupon next time you order. The new user discount is really good." Lin Xiao looked back and forth. It seemed like she had just finished making the bed and had come out of the bedroom. But she quickly composed herself. She placed the food on the dining table. "Come help set the table. I'll get the plates from the kitchen." "Oh, okay." You hurried after her. A little later, Lin Xiao came out carrying a bottle of red wine. "Do you drink?" She poured herself a glass and looked at you. It was the first time you had seen that expression on her face. There was something in her eyes that was difficult to explain. Under the warm light, she looked incredibly beautiful. You felt as though she was hiding an emotion she couldn't completely express. "Give me a glass too." Suddenly, you wanted to enjoy this moment with her. It had been a long time since you had eaten any of these dishes. The roast duck smelled amazing. Lin Xiao's eyes lit up. "Try it." You secretly watched her. Lin Xiao raised her glass and slowly drank. One sip, then another. You stared at her in surprise. Without realizing it, you tightened your grip around your own glass. "Do you drink often?" you asked. "Yes. Today feels different." "Why?" You could feel her eyes on you. An indescribable sense of confusion spread through your heart. Lin Xiao didn't continue. For a while, neither of you said anything. Suddenly, click. The entire apartment went dark. The power had gone out. Lin Xiao looked toward the window. "This is such a remote area. Does the power go out here too?" Even 10 years later, you asked in surprise. Lin Xiao looked confused. "What do you mean? The electricity in this neighborhood rarely went out. Even when it did, it usually returned quickly." "Let's wait a few minutes." You sighed quietly. At that moment, You wanted to tell her everything, that these 10 years had disappeared without warning, that you had never intended to leave her, that you had been separated from her by a force beyond your control. But the words stopped at your lips. You looked at her beautiful eyes in the darkness, and you hesitated. Lin Xiao picked up her phone. It seemed that there wouldn't be any calls for the time being. A message in the neighborhood group said the electricity wouldn't return until tomorrow morning. What should we do now? She didn't answer. Instead, you heard a rustling sound beneath the table. Lin Xiao pulled 2 candles from underneath it. She lit them and placed them on the table. The candlelight illuminated her face. You stared at her beautiful features. Her cheeks were slightly flushed. Your heart suddenly began beating faster. You remained silent for a long time. Then Lin Xiao murmured, "I remembered there were candles under the table. Fragrant candles." You noticed the scent. They were white candles with little hearts carved into them. Written on them were the words, "For the person you love most." You stared at them in surprise. "Why do you have candles like these? How did you know I was coming here?" You couldn't understand why she had such things in her home. Lin Xiao couldn't possibly have known in advance that you would come to her apartment tonight. So why did she have romantic candles? Couldn't you have just used normal candles? You remained silent for a long time. Your mind suddenly began putting together a strange story. You remembered the serious expression on Lin Xiao's face when she lit the candles. Why does she have these candles at home? You couldn't stop thinking about it. You knew you had no right to be angry, yet you still felt strangely uncomfortable. "Do you normally use candles like these?" Lin Xiao repeated your question. "Normally?" You asked again. "Yeah, these are the kind of candles people use when they're alone together, aren't they? And you bought so many of them. What are you talking about?" Lin Xiao asked. "They're small gifts our company gives to clients, so it's normal for me to have a few of them at home." You said somewhat stubbornly, "I thought you used them often." A hint of happiness returned to Lin Xiao's eyes. The 2 of you continued eating and drinking. Before long, both of your faces were flushed. You suddenly asked, "What happened to our old classmates? It's been 10 years. They must have changed a lot, right?" "Yeah. Do you remember Zhou Bao? The chubby guy? He later joined the army. I saw his posts on social media. Now he has a muscular chest and even an 8-pack. You slowly raised your head. "Didn't I change?" Lin Xiao replied. "Didn't you just look at yourself?" You took another sip of wine. You muttered unhappily, "I don't think I've changed at all." Lin Xiao's cheeks turned red. You unconsciously shook your head. Maybe the alcohol was already taking effect. You were almost lying on the table. Lin Xiao complained. "You should have told me from the beginning that you couldn't hold your liquor. You never told me either. Who said I can't drink? I drink every night. I've been drinking for years." Lin Xiao struggled to raise her head. You fell silent again. You didn't know whether you were drunk or simply lost in your thoughts. After a long time, you finally became somewhat clear-headed. Then you asked the question you had wanted to know the most. "How were your 10 years?" The alcohol finally gave you the courage to ask. But by then, you were already far too drunk. You never heard her answer. Before long, you fell asleep. Even in your sleep, you were mumbling something. Lin Xiao finished the last sip of her wine. Her cheeks were completely red. Suddenly, she heard you calling her name. Drunk and half-conscious, she moved closer to you. You kept calling her name. "Lin Xiao, Lin Xiao." She looked at you helplessly. "I'm right here. I've always been right here. You don't have to keep calling my name." But you had already completely fallen unconscious.